Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here at lovely Donington Park. I am Austin Knight. I am joined by Sam Fitzpatrick with Frederick Nichtel in the broadcasting booth making his broadcasting debut. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you, Austin. I'm very pleased to be back with this series. Missed last week. Dean Baird, I think, was replaced me on that occasion. He might be back next week as well, but very happy to be here at Donington, a classic circuit, a circuit that we don't necessarily visit too much on Apex Racing TV, but whenever we do, it's a nice refresher. Some fantastic mix of corners, particularly the first half of this lap. Fast sweepers and should be very good fun in these Formula 3.5 cars.
It's definitely going to be a lot of fun here. Donington's always provided some great racing throughout the years, and then these cars expect them to be very close with each other. Even though in the opening parts of the lap, there is a certain corner that is, quote, a landmine with these cars, but I think they found out a setup that avoids the landmine. But if you just see a side pod just suddenly explode, they hit the landmine. So expect a little bit of caution throughout the first laps.
Yeah, we believe that's down at turn 3, so heading down the hill. So watch out for that one. I expect the drivers not to be taking too much curb around that part of the circuit. They're currently in their qualifying session, are the drivers, so anyone who's raced in official racing, of course, will know that we've got a 8-minute qualifying session. We've got 2.5 minutes left of that, and then we will have a number of laps to complete to decide who will be the winner of this week 4 of the series. And currently on pole position is Manuel Domingo, which is a little bit of a turn up to the books. He's ahead of Greg Olsen and Paul Ilbrink currently on the grid, but still a little bit of time for that to change. It's very close out there around this relatively short circuit.
And it's actually a very fast qualifying because everyone did a qualifying lap and they're already onto the grid. So let's bring you through this grid. Yeah, I know. It's the first time I saw that actually happens. Let's go onto the grid right now. Starting up on pole is Manuel Domingo, followed by Greg Olsen. Starting on the front row, behind them is Paul Ilbrink, Rob Crouch, Steve Honan, Omar Baja, Edward Samborski, Thomas Knoll, Theodore Burns, Luke Groom, James J. Pinkster, Rob Bohr in 12th place. Following them in 13th, it is Nicholas Bradford, Christian Huth, Juan Prada Jr., Shane Russell, Jamie Byrne, Urka Stefania, and Phil Reed at the back of this 19-car grid. Sam, any predictions for this race?
Well, I mean, watch out for Reed. He's going to be starting from the back. He could be one to watch out for as he moves his way up through the order. And whilst Domingo is on pole position, that's going to be tricky for him to hold on to. He's got a few very competitive drivers behind him in the form of Olsen and Ilbrink, who usually underperforms a little bit in qualifying. Ilbrink usually faster come the race. I mean, it is pretty tricky to overtake around this place. Not too many obvious overtaking places, maybe the chicane and also that penultimate hairpin. So if Domingo can keep the lead for this first lap, then maybe he has a decent chance of hanging on to it to the end.
It's definitely going to be crazy at the start with all these guys, especially around this track. It can get tight in some spaces, especially in that chicane on the back straight. You were saying that there was actually a plan to remove that chicane, but unfortunately it was cut down due to budgeting restrictions. I really would have loved to see a non-chicane back straight, but hey, it's going to be here. It's iRacing Formula 3.5 as the Reds are going higher. The heartbeats are rising, and we're going green flag racing here at Donington. Great clean start. James A. Pinkster got a good start. Domingo leads out Olsen, and Samborski's made up a few spots already. We got tons of cars going off into turn 1.
4 cars off, and I think Carsten Huth is also off the circuit a little bit further up. So that first incident, it's almost just like bowling pins, wasn't it? They all just went sliding off. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just one driver missing their braking point. So it was Baja, Honan, Crouch, and Knoll. Crouch was starting as high as 4th position, then a few drivers just behind him got involved. But the top 3 absolutely fine. Samborski already up 3 places. That's a great start for him. Phil Reed, I said he would be gaining places. I didn't expect him to gain places this quick. He's up into 9th from 19th on the grid. Stunning start.
He's gained 10 spots in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 corners. Wow.
Absolutely incredible. Just drove past all of it. And here are the drivers who were involved in their incidents. I don't see that much damage on their cars, remarkably. And just trying to gain some places back. Steve Honen's off the circuit. You can just see him in the background there, spinning off on the inside.
Keith actually has a side pod damage. If you look right at that beta sign, he's got a big hit of the side pod in the left side of his car, so he might be heading into the pits, but that's the only damage I can see from him. Nothing that changing. I don't believe any of these guys all have some suspension damage. See one car diving into the pits. That is Groom. But that is the craziest start I've seen.
Yeah, it really was. We don't usually see that in this series.
Yeah, we never really see that. I thought the most crazy race we had was in Spa last week, but after this one lap here, I can check that off the list.
I am a big fan of that Bradford livery. Here we are. We're going to see what happens down into this turn one. So maybe Rob Ball was involved in this. He was a little bit further behind. Can he avoid?
No.
Oh, well, he did pretty well.
Yeah, he avoided. Oh, there was a second incident that was bigger than the first one. And Bohr just passed everybody right there.
Nice work from him there. There he is in 9th place. So Reed has got past him as well. So 11 places gained now for the UK and Ireland driver. To still defend a little bit on that very multi-coloured livery just fine. We are using trading paints, of course, for this broadcast. And very good to see all these liveries. Last season we had to limit it a little bit due to a few restrictions on the esports network, but this season we can see all the liveries in all their glory.
Yeah, all the liveries, all the glory, and just all the creativity from these guys and their teams. That Samborski going wide off of turn one. He's going to fall down all the way to 9th place. Very, very hard.
Suddenly recalled where I know where Phil Reed from. I commented on the Apex Online Racing League, which has nothing to do with Apex Racing TV, by the way. And he was very good in it. I think he won the title, actually. Won loads of races back when they were driving the Formula Renault 2.0 car. And I wouldn't be surprised if they've switched to this car, the Formula 3 car, ever since then. So, a very competitive driver, certainly. Here comes Phil Reed down the inside into the chicane. Doesn't have to go for it straight away. Just needs to follow through here, which is easier said than done. And then go for a dive into the next hairpin, although it might just be a bit too far behind.
Oh, Reed landed on the brakes! Almost getting to the back of Bradford. Bradford taking a wider line. Reed looking down to the inside. Samborski goes taking a spin off the exit. These guys going side by side into the final corner, which is the hairpin. Who's going to have the better line, Bradford or Reed? Or is it going to be Bohr who's going to clean up on this group right now? But apparently Rob has a side pod issue as well. Reed setting up the inside. Easy for him. And Bohr fell back.
Yeah, Bohr went straight through as well, so Bradford left a really wide berth there. Almost missed the corner. I don't know if he was just scared that he was going to be taken out or just ran wide himself, but Reed up in 6th place. I mean, whilst we're saying that Reed is overperforming, perhaps, that he started from the back, he didn't set a qualifying time. So this is back where he should really be, and it's kind of showing how quick he really is, and maybe a little bit frustrating for Reed that he's not fighting for a podium instead, but he's still doing it, making the best of a tricky job. Estefania currently catching up to Russell. Ica from Iberia here, and this is for 11th place. Another Australian in the form of Russell. There's always good population from them in this series.
Yeah, this time slot suits the Australians very well. It's in the morning for them. It's not crazy early in the morning or crazy in the middle of the night. So, right where I'm at, time where I'm at, perfect for me, perfect for them. Great time zone, and these guys absolutely love it.
I will just say I should be in my pajamas right now, so it's not the best for me.
It's like 10 right now, isn't it?
11? Way past my bedtime. This is far too late, but it's worth staying up for. Rob Crouch with profile picture, which is great to see. You can download that, of course, via SDK Gaming, and then you can have all your information, such as a profile picture, applied to you. So certainly do check out sdkgaming.com, and also you can click on the live timing link in the description, also provided by SDK Gaming, and that will tell you the intervals between each of the drivers, their lap times, their pit stop times. That's not very relevant in this series. All that useful stuff. And of course, if you were following that, then you could see the gap currently between the top 2 seconds, with the fast half of the race just being set by Manuel Domingo, 14.86, this time a 15.0, but continuing to extend that gap 0.2 of a second faster that last tour.
Yeah, Domingo's pulling away from Olsen lap by lap, and Olsen just sitting there, can't really catch up to it, but Ilbrink, though, looks like Ilbrink's starting to catch up on Olsen, but he does have to deal with that dirty air and a lap car.
Such a rhythm circuit, this, of course. Almost many of the corners in the first half of the lap really just blending almost into one. A lot of them easy flat out. I mean, this is just a lift off the here. You can't get to really the chicane. It's only really the proper second hard braking area. This you maybe tap the brakes, but to slow down too much, such as the downforce in these cars. And so really do just blow through each of the corners. Can be tricky, though, to follow one another. Big aero loss when you're following another driver. A lot of turbulent air. That's maybe what Omar Baha is currently suffering, sitting behind Rob Crouch.
Well, there's also that side pod issue, like I mentioned. There's a little bit of an issue with turn 3 that if your ride height's not high enough, you will have a bit of a side pod damage if you hit turn 3, if you hit the curb on turn 3. So that's also a reason why we see Erica Lindstrom letting us know in chat that is a issue that some of these drivers are having to face with, and we already see 1 or 2 drivers already having some side pod damage from lap 1 that they went over that curb.
Yeah, along with those couple of spins as well that we saw. Surprising that not more drivers are out of the race currently. In fact, everyone's still in the race, and everyone's still on the lead lap, except from Steve Honan. He did have to come into the pits on the second lap of the event to get a little bit of damage fixed, it seemed. No fast repairs, of course, for these drivers. Can be very tricky to finish the race clean, but good driving standards so far. Estefania, I think, getting a little bit of a queue forming up behind him now. He's got Russell, then we've got a back marker just behind. But still very tricky right now for him. Apologies, no, this is Parada ahead of Estefania, and then Russell.
Yeah, Parada leading this train. Sitting pretty well with Estefania, Russell, and Noel right behind. And we're just going to see how Parada deals with these guys behind him. But you can see he does have that side pod damage on his right side. So that's going to be affecting him. Oh, wow. Here comes Estefania looking down the inside of Parada. Parada trying to swing it around the outside to defend from the dive bomb, and he makes it work. Great defensive move right there.
That was really good. Estefania was a little bit deep as well on the brakes, missed the apex slightly, so had to leave a slightly wider berth there, did Parada. But good driving. He's lost them a lot of time, though. And Rob Crouch was catching up to these guys. Crouch actually just gained past Thomas Knoll as well. And Omar Baha as well is in this one. So we're going to have a 6-car train coming up. They're not that far behind Rob Bohr as well. You can just see Rob Bohr in the foreground, although Bohr is starting to pull away from him about a second faster than these drivers on the last lap. So, well, this is a tricky situation for Parada to be in, and he's having to defend into every other corner at the moment, round the outside. Well, that was never going to work out for
tricky right there. We got a car having to cut the chicane as well. That was Shane Russell. He's going to go back to the train and just watches. These guys are just sending it all over the place, trying to make that 3 wide into a spot that was not right there, with Baha and Noel going side by side as well. Here comes Baha holding that inside line. Noel trying to swing it around the outside, but they almost come into contact with each other. That's Estefania on his wheel.
And somehow, out of all of this, Crouch is ahead then, I guess. So Brada's in 9th then. Yeah, so Brada's hung on, and Crouch has been able to gain a place up into 10th. And Estefano, who looks so strong, looks as though he was about to get past Brada, instead has lost a position from all of this, and now might lose another one because Baja is looking very quick at the moment. So you stay close to this pass, and then we're seeing the slipstream down into the chicane can be very powerful.
Yeah,
Oh, massive understeer though.
Estefania is one of those aggressive drivers. He's going to try to make up a move anytime he sees that we got this great battle, but oh no, Baja gets a little bit of a wheel touch. It goes sailing off the track.
Oh, Ball went with him as well.
Only saw one car there, though.
Yeah, well, Ball is still off the circuit, apparently. Oh, Ball's lost it in the first sector, so he's having a... There he is. He's gone up into... I don't know where Donington even is. It's in my own country, and I still don't know where it is. It's is it Kent? Something Donington? Not sure. Is that Brands Hatch? I'm not sure. Anyway, he's gone into another county, was the point I was going to make, because he was a long way off the track.
And we had a car stopped at the exit of in the first sector, and oh, just losing control out of nowhere. And he collects 1 and 2 cars as well. And there's the severity of that side pod damage, making that car crazy.
Oh dear. Crouch has gone off again. Noel was the other driver to get involved in that one. That's a shame.
Unstable.
He was making good progress, and I assume he's just not touched the brakes, I guess.
Crouch is well, I don't think he noticed that he has a front wing. He now notices that he has no front wing, and he should have gone to the pits right there.
So that is, unfortunately, that battle very much dispersed. From that, up into 9th place now is Estefania. Had a couple of shaky laps. Looks as though he's going to lose a couple of places. It is back up into 9th. Shane Russell is in 10th, and then Jamie Byrne. Jamie Byrne, he was well behind those guys, was in 15th place, I think, before he's up into 11th now, so nice job from him. Noel and Baja, Crouch. He's got massive damage across this Crouch. So lots of those drivers being whistled down. This has been a good battle, which we haven't paid too much attention to because it hasn't gone side by side yet. Theodore Burns punching above his weight. Car number 13, unlucky for some, not unlucky for him at the moment. He is going much higher than his iRacing would suggest. He's up in 4th place ahead of James Hinska at the moment, who has been sitting within a second of his rival for this entire race, yet to get close enough for an overtake though.
Yeah, not close enough. A little bit of correction. I believe it's in Donington Park is in Derby, not Kent.
Leicestershire, we're hearing. Is Derby in Leicestershire? I'm not even sure. I know Leicester's in Leicestershire. I'm sure about that.
That's what Google is telling me. But I don't know which one's the county and which one's the state. Remember, I'm American, so I don't know what
states.
I don't know.
States. We don't have states. We're not big enough. I mean, your state is the size of blooming Europe, anyways.
My state's bigger than your continent.
Yeah. Oh, that's a spin. Oh no, Burns. Why have you done that? He's down into 5th place because he's gone spinning off into turn 1. There he is. Can he get back on the track? Reed moves up a place. That's a couple of curses now that I've done. Apologies, guys. And even Samborski, who went off that corner earlier on, he nearly gets past. Oh, well, maybe 13 is unlucky.
We got some sass in the chat for our broadcast here. It's either Fredericks or Sam, who is also watching this as well. Not Sam, Sammy, but
To be fair, I did say Brands Hatch might be in Kent, so you can give me that one. Donington said I didn't know it was in this shit. I've never been personally. Been to Brands Hatch.
Oh, it's Lee. We're all wrong.
Oh.
Domingo leading out this race by almost 3 seconds. He's got Olsen and Ilbrich behind him. James Peacer has been silently making up places. 7 spots up, sitting in 4th place right now. And he's sitting pretty nicely in 4th. He's followed by Reed, Burns, Samborsi, Bradford, Russell, and Byrne, your top 10.
Lowest iRacing driver in today's race is Carsten Huth. car number 19. And he's currently running in 15th place. I'm going to really test out Frederick's knowledge now of the overlay. Wonder if he could get the iRacing gain and loss up for us, which is always quite a nice element that SDK Gaming have provided. Here is Huth going down. Oh, there you go.
He's nailed it.
He's got the job. Well done. 52 iRacing gains for Bradford. 52 iRacing gains for Olsen as well, which is surprising. Seeing that he's car number 3, but that's a nice game for him. No one gaining absolute vast amounts. You can see Rob Bohr losing 95 and Purada losing 91. Always painful to lose that amount. Can take a couple of weeks to gain that all back again.
Or it could take one very well-placed race, because look at Theodore Burns gaining 59 I rating right there. And look at Crouch. He's having a good race with Huth. Huth unable to get anything on there. Crouch staying in 15th.
Think how much Burns was going to gain if he stayed in 4th place. It would have probably been plus 80 or something if it weren't for that. But instead he fell back behind Pinsker and Reed with a mistake at turn 1 a couple of laps ago. But still, yeah, good gain for him. Undoubtedly placed on Borski position the most ordinary out of most of the drivers. Good to see as well, so many drivers from different continents. Of course, we've got a few Americans, a few Australians, a few Europeans from various European countries as well.
Yeah, let's check out one of the regulars, Greg Olson, because I think something may have happened to him on last lap. I was taking a look at his lap time, and it just dropped significantly from what it used to be. He did a 1:16 while everyone around him was doing 1:15s.
Yeah, it's over 1 second slower than his best lap time. And the tyres certainly won't be expired yet. In fact, they'll be not far off their best. It does take a while to warm them up. And of course, the fuel will be going down. Let's see what he can do this time. 15.45, much more like it. So yeah, and that's the Austin. He did make a mistake that last tour, but Ilbrink not making much of an impression on him.
Yeah, probably had a little bit of off-track excursion, but I'm not seeing anything in the event viewer. Just knowing this track, it could be a very bit different. But just look at the amount of time lost. And Paul is closing down on Greg.
Also lapping very similarly to them is James Pinsker and Phil Reed. So the top 5 all really evenly matched. Then you got a little bit of a further thing to Theodore Burns. Edward Samborski actually now catching up to Theodore Burns. I've also got this battle. Honan trying to get past Huth. Honan, who had to come into the pits earlier on, was last place at one point. A couple of retirees, and now making up a move himself. He's up into 16th place is Steve Honan. Got 6 seconds to catch up to Rob Crouch, who somehow is still running in this race after that massive impact. Great livery as well on Honan's car. Nice Jordan livery from the early 2000s. Looking very nice.
Yeah, absolutely love the throwback liveries to the old Jordan days. Probably my favorite team, paint scheme-wise.
They've always had good paint. Of course, they've now got their Racing Point, effectively now. That team has emerged, and that's got a very nice livery.
That was a joke, right?
Oh, you don't like the pink? I love the pink. Absolutely superb livery. 2017 Force India, one of the best liveries in F1 history.
Welcome to Sam's Hot Take. Please forward all hate mail to sam@gmail.com.
That's not far off, actually, my email, so please don't try anything like that. If anyone else has any favourite liveries, let us know. On the F1 channel, they were showing the 96 Monaco Grand Prix, and there were a few nice liveries there. The McLaren livery, that's the one the last years with the red and white Marlboro colours, which was very nice, and the Ligier as well that season was looking pretty nice. Any other liveries you like, let us know. And of course, the classic Williams as well.
My favorite livery, any Haas livery.
Oh, I really did not like their 2016 livery. The grey. Don't like grey.
I'm slightly biased.
You are. I mean, it's fairly American anyway. It's made in Italy, isn't it? Delara?
Delara, yes, but they do have a factory outside of Indianapolis
Ah, fair enough.
Motor Speedway, just a block down the street. But I believe that's strictly for the IR18.
Right. Okay. Hopefully we'll see them out on circuit at some point. Weren't great in pre-season testing. Hopefully they've made some changes to that car for when we go racing. Hopefully in the summer or autumn. Theodore Burns.
Oh,
He
this is
is
a send.
always off the curb, and now this is an opportunity for Samborski to attack.
Yeah, Samborski is watching this. He's got that lap car Huth that's upset Burns right there, and Samborski is bearing that nose, and you get to see a lot of wheel spin from Burns coming out of that hairpin. Samborski is seeing that, and he's just planning his attack. But Huth is there. Huth can be the third wheel in this and hopefully not disrupt this battle, but he can fill the mirrors of Samborski and make this kind of a nerve-wracking situation for them.
Yeah, he certainly can. Something extra for Samborski to think about. He's certainly got the pace advantage, hasn't he? And Samborski maybe kind of has his up weeks and his down weeks. He made a mistake earlier on. He was all right in qualifying. Maybe not his best week this. However, we have seen him make consistent improvements over the last couple of seasons. One of the most consistent drivers in this championship. He's got the gap down to 0.3 of a second for sixth place. Here's Thomas Knoll, who came into the pits earlier on. Got really unlucky. Got involved in an incident just coming out of the penultimate hairpin with a couple of drivers in front of him. I think it was Parada and Crouch who crashed in front of him. Knoll had nowhere to go. Got a bit of damage on that. He's recovered very well. And Estefania, who he was fighting earlier on, he's caught back up.
He's got wing damage, Estefania.
Yeah, he's struggling for pace.
And here comes Knoll sailing up the inside and making that move look easy. Like putting bread in the oven.
Do you put bread in the oven?
Yes.
Do you not have a toaster?
Oh, I make homemade bread.
Oh, cool. Oh, that sounds good.
I do have a toaster though, but that's for like toast.
That is, to be fair, that is the main use of it. But no, homemade bread, that sounds superb. Luke Green and Rob Crouch were quite close. Not quite as close as anymore. But 0.2 of a second, here they are. Crouch got alongside going into the chicane. He's almost alongside coming out of this corner as well.
Oh, Crouch just skating on that curb. No room given to him by Groom. Excellent defending right there. And Crouch is trying to find anything good for this race. So he definitely wants to have some overtakes on his resume, but nothing he can find for today. Donington is a very hard track for these cars, especially coming after Spa. It's two completely different tracks. One's flowing and nice, and the other one is punch your teeth and try to take your lunch money.
Yeah, this race is pretty tricky. And now it goes alongside, ambitious move, kind of half commits to it, and that's just going to lose you both time, and it would have probably been better just to slot him behind anyway, because that's what's happened. He's got so much more pace as Crouch. Green's got a bit of damage on that car, so is lapping about a second off the pace.
Here comes Crouch.
Crouch is now going to be able to get past him, but that took him too long. Now he's got, I think, is it 15 seconds to Estefania. Estefania, though, is lapping about 2 seconds lap slower.
Well, that was a car going way off the track right there. In the background, I think that was Phil Reed sailing off the track.
Could have been, yeah. He was. I thought he was a bit closer to Pinsker than he is now. Now Honen's going to get past Groom as well. Not quite. In fact, it was Groom who went off the circuit then. So Groom went off and just about staying ahead of Onan, who he was pulling away from earlier. I expect him to pull away once again since he hasn't sustained too much damage. Edward Samborski, what's happened here? He has gone off the circuit. Not too disastrous for him. Oh, actually, that is quite bad, isn't it? Half spin. And that's his pursuit of Theodore Burns pretty much coming to an end. Doesn't like that turn one, Samborski.
Yeah, turn one's very tricky here. It's kind of off camber as well. This is a replay. Luke Groom just overcooking it. Bit of a lockup with James. And James doing the very, very, very eyes open thing and avoiding that and keep that inside open.
Always a very good skill to have, the ability or having eyes in the back of your head to know when to give your rival room. Might lose you a little bit of time, but it's better than flipping a corner off your car. As Groom is making that one a very easy. Also, that was Honan making that very easy for Phil Reed just to get past.
Yeah, Phil Reed is the one chasing down Pinkster, so he's the one thankful that Pinkster has eyes in the back of his head, but Pinkster is in the draft of Crouch, so he can use that and gain some time on the straights.
So Domingo still leading by 4 seconds at the moment to Olsen. That last lap they're separated by 1/100th of a second. You can see it was half a hundredth of a second even. Tiny differences between these two drivers. Olsen has become a bit more of a match for Domingo as this race has gone on, but that few seconds that he lost early on in this event have proved to be a little bit costly for him. Olsen gains a couple of tenths of a second. That's one of the biggest gains he's had on any of these 22 laps that they've so far completed. Ilbrink 1.7 seconds back, but yeah, just not close enough at the moment. We'll be interested to see how many DRSs these drivers have remaining. See if they can maybe go for the fastest lap of the race in the closing stages. We do sometimes see that, deploy the DRS 2 or 3 times in a single lap, and it does get you upwards of a second perhaps in extra time. And yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen that much DRS being used. Well, as I say that, Greg Olsen uses DRS.
For those of you who...
That's commentator's curse on myself. Because Greg Olsen and Phil and Ilbrink both use DRS at exactly the same time.
For those of you who don't know, to tell if a driver is using DRS, that's slight gap in the rear wing. When the DRS is being used, that gap will disappear, and instead it will be a completely solid the rear wing. You can see on this occasion, not using it is Olsen down the pit straight. And so keep an eye out for that. Did Ilbrink use it?
Yeah, it is. Ilbrink's one is a bit colored differently. So the DRS flap is colorable in the iRacing wireframe. To all you painters right there, if you want to help us out, make it a obnoxiously bright color.
We would appreciate that. Make it magenta, please, as Marco Balbinero would say.
If you don't speak Italian, that's red.
It's not red, it's pink.
Pink.
Ready pink, shall I say. Ready pink.
Like
everyone taking mega wide lines to that turn 3. They're absolutely terrified on that curve. It only took me about half this race to realise why they were doing that. It's a very, very strange line, but certainly the way to go to avoid too much damage.
Yeah, I told you the turn 3 was like a landmine here. We got guys in the chat like backing us up, and well, one crash already from that side pod damage. It just makes the car so unstable. Getting onto the throttle just makes the car so upset and breaks it up. Hopefully, iRacing does patch this.
Yeah, hopefully they will do. They usually, well, there are a few still a few glitches. I've been finding one at the moto layout at Indianapolis about a year ago, I think, where you go wide at the last corner and you hit the wall and you go up into the International Space Station. So I found that one, and Indianapolis has been on iRacing for a while, and they still haven't patched that one. So there are a few of them lying about. Here is Russell actually. Well, he's catching up to Bradford now. 6/10 of a second on lap 23. Let's see what it is on lap 24. It is 1/10, so it's not quite as much as he wanted, although it was a better lap time from Bradford there. It's for 8th place at the moment. As you can see, this nice shoulder cam for the first time today. See these fast-flowing corners of Donington Park.
Yeah, the Donington Park, famous racetrack, one of the famous racetracks in all of Britain, or London, or UK, or whatever you guys call yourself. Every time I hear
ourselves London.
I'm Texan. I have a pass.
You do.
Oh, Pinkster, he's caught up to the back of there, and he's trying to catch up Ilbert, but he's got that laps car ahead of him, and he's forced to take cut into turn 3 right there. But Pinkster is chasing down Crouch and trying to catch up to Ilbrink. I thought they were closer than that, but apparently it wasn't, and I thought Ilbrink was Crouch for a second. But
yeah, I was confused as well. I was thinking, what's happened to Ilbrink? But no, the gap's still 14 seconds. 12.5 seconds, sorry. By the way, what's the capital of Texas? Is it Dallas or Austin?
It's Austin.
Oh, it's Austin, okay.
I know. It's kind of confusing because...
Yeah, it's just Dallas is probably the most famous city in Texas.
No, San Antonio is the most famous city.
Oh, of course. Some very good commentators actually grew up in San Antonio, right here.
Yes, yes. Me, my uncle, a few other people.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
Remember the Elmo. That's what we're going for. Anyway, back to racing in Donington Park and not Texas. We can talk about Texas whenever we go to Dakota.
Well, yeah, next week.
And I'm going to have a fun time.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's apologies to get a bit somber, but apparently that circuit may well be shutting down. So we'll at least have a scan of it on iRacing forever, a bit like Oran Park, of course. Anyway, Domingo approaching his final lap.
And we got a replay of Shane Russell in the chicane. Does he hit the curb? Yes, he does. And oh, that's a car off ahead of him. That is who was that?
Oh, that was Bradford. Bradford was ahead, and it's just lost 3.5 seconds because of that mistake. So here we are.
Oh, it's back ahead. Oh, this is the replay again. Yeah, he's just smacked that curb and then just lost it onto the exit. But it wasn't that big of a loss. It was just a correction that sent him off.
So we are on to the final lap of the race. White flag is out. The gap's come down. 2.4 seconds, however. It's tricky to judge quite how relevant that is. Domingo very much with the end in sight, maybe just calming everything down. Olsen and Ilbrink have pushed him. They've kept him honest, and we've seen a lot of mistakes from other drivers, but not from this man today. He's been absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, Domingo, pole and the lead for the entire race. Been chilling up there, just dealing with some lapped cars. No mistakes. Absolutely perfect race. He's got Olsen 2 seconds behind him, who has Ilbrink closing in on him as well. But every one of these guys in the top 3, absolutely mistake-free. And here comes Domingo around the final corner and down the front straight. Enables DRS for just for the heck of it and takes the win here at Donington Park. He's followed by Olsen and Ilbrink finishing on the podium with him.
Great recovery drive from Phil Reed. It looks like he's going to finish in 5th place from 19th on the grid. And Bolsky trying to catch up to Burns in these final few stages, he'll be kicking himself for a mistake which made him fall off. Phil Reed actually saying the fastest lap of the race on the last lap of 14.7, and that was fastest lap of the race by 10th and a half as well, which is relatively comfortable, seeing how close it was out there. So great job from him using those couple of DRSs. Here comes Bradford, trying to get the power down, those tyres aging in these closing stages. He'll be frustrated as well with that late off through the chicane. Seems to have Russell in his back pocket. And so it'll be Russell finishing in 8th place and Bradford in 9th.
It's a good race here today. A bit chaotic at the start with that bowling alley in turn 1, but it wasn't as chaotic as some of the guys were saying.
No, it certainly wasn't too bad. Certainly this man benefited from it. Jamie Byrne, who was running in, I think, 15th, 16th near the start of the race, started down in 17th. And he really benefited from all of that and managed to recover to a very impressive top 11 finish.
And here are your results for the race today. Taking the win is Manuel Domingo, followed by Greg Olson, Paul Ilbrink, Rob Crouch, Steve Honan, Omar Baha.
I think these may be the qualifying results. Apologies.
These are the qualifying results. The first two are right, though.
The first three were right.
Yes.
Here we go.
Here are the race results. Manuel Domingo takes the win, followed by Greg Olson and Paul Ilbrink. Your top three. They're followed by James J. Pinkster, Phil Reed, Theodore Burns, Sam Borski, Shane Russell, Nicholas Bradford, Omar Baha, Jamie Byrne, Thomas Knoll, Rob Crouch, Steve Honan, Iker Estefania, Luke Groom, Carson Huth, Juan Parada Jr., and Rob Bohr finishes at the very back of the grid. So a very different race than what we're used to, but clean at the front here at Donington Park. Sam, any thoughts about that race?
Yeah, no, it was certainly a reason why we should go to Donington. I mean, I'm sure the drivers absolutely loved it out there. And I believe we might get an interview with Greg Olson coming up.
Yes, we are, and I'm gonna leave you to the interviews as I have to go off to the next broadcast.
Yeah, so tune in for that in just a moment. But thanks, Austin, for joining us, and we'll see you back in what, like 10 minutes time, back on Apex Racing TV.
Yes.
Awesome. See you then. So we will next talk with Greg Olson. We will chat with because he finished in 2nd place. Congratulations, Greg. Really good result, but Manuel just seemed to have that tiny added pace, particularly at the start of the race.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, Manuel was just too quick today, but I'm really happy to get 2nd, especially after a couple of DNFs the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I was hoping for a nice boring race, and I guess that's what I got.
How was it dealing with that turn 3 issue? We've heard that there's a bit of a problem where if you hit the curb, then it destroys the side pod. Were you taking an alternative line just to avoid any risk of that?
Yeah, we're all taking a very wide line. If you drive close to the curb in practice, I found that it would just slingshot my car off the track completely. So I heard other people were getting side pod damage and things like that, and I did hit a slight bump in my my 2nd qualifying lap, but luckily, yeah, it didn't affect my qualifying on my race.
And we saw quite a lot of traffic out there as well. You seem to have to overtake quite a few cars, only the top 11 finishing on the lead lap. How was it coping with those lapped cars?
Yeah, it's very easy to get frustrated, especially around a place like Donington. It's a very short lap, but look, everyone did their best. I can't really, yeah, they're in their race as well, so it's just a feature of the track, I think, and it worked out. No one had any drama in the end, I think.
And next up, we head to Circuit of the Americas, a track that divides opinion. Are you looking forward to that one?
I think I'd be lying if I said I was looking forward to it. But look, I did race it last time, but that was on the V6 tires, so it'll be it'd be very interesting to see how it goes on V7, especially with all the high-speed corners, because the high-speed behavior is something that I don't think's quite there yet with the V7 tires. So we'll see how we go. It could turn out to be really good, but I have a feeling it's going to be really, really high track temperature, and we're gonna test this car sort of really for the first time at super high track temp. So it's gonna be interesting.
Definitely. Well, we certainly look forward to that one, Greg. Thanks for having a chat with us. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, just like to shout out Positive Sim Racing and all my teammates. Tim wasn't here today, but he did a great job on the setup this week. And the rest of our partners, Z1 Dashboard, Modom, Joel Real Timing, and Studio 3T. And as always, you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Greg, and best of luck next week.
Thank you.
Right, so we're going to try to get through these next three interviews then. Next up, we'll have a chat with third place man, Paul Ilbrink. Paul, well done out there. Third position. It looked like a little bit of a dull race out there. You started third, you finished third. How was it for you?
It was quite uneventful indeed. Like it was the grid order, and like in the race, it's such a difficult track to like overtake anyway, and really lead like car ahead to make some kind of mistake or something. But yeah, I'm just happy that I didn't like make any big mistakes myself where I went off. Like in practice, that happened quite a bit. So just happy to bank the points for third and move on to a better track for this car.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where did you think you were gaining time? Where did you think you were losing time in comparison to the couple of drivers ahead of you?
I don't think there was like a particular part of the track where I lost any time. Like might even got the fastest lap. I don't know, but it's such a big matter of like confidence mostly, because it's so easy to be a bit too eager on the throttle out of the slow corners, and you get wheel spin and you lose like half a second in one sector right away. So it's just like trying not to overdrive the car and just be consistent. And I don't know, I let them go away in the beginning a bit and made a couple small mistakes, but like I don't know if the result would have been any different if I drove a bit better even. So.
And what is your strategy when it comes to the DRS when you're in a race like that? You're a little bit further behind the driver ahead, you're not defending from behind. When do you decide to use those DRSs?
I saved them all up for the last 8 laps, but this track doesn't have like any real long straights, and the wind was also like it's mostly advantageous when you use it with a headwind, but it was only like a really short straight where it was a real headwind. So like I don't think the DRS makes a big difference here anyway. So yeah, like I used it in the final couple of laps, but I don't think I gained more than a tenth per lap, or maybe 2, but that's about it. So it's not a big strategy option at this track, I think.
No, certainly not. Hopefully it will be a bit more prominent in the future rounds. Thanks for having a chat with us, Paul. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, sure. I want to thank all my teammates at Radicals Online and our partners and sponsors: Cranfield Simulation, Joe Real Timing, Arma Center, SSM Race, Modef Podcast, Turn Racing, Simmortal, Track Racer, Six Sideways, and Pixel Dust, and you guys for doing a nice broadcast.
Thank you very much, Paul, and best of luck at Circuit of the Americas next week.
Thank you.
All right, a couple of interviews still to go. Next up, we are going to have a chat with the most positions game, and we rudely interrupt him as well with his conversation with Eddie Samborski. We'll let you get back to that later, Phil. But for now, great drive through the order. We will start off with the low of the day. What happened in qualifying?
I happened in qualifying. It's just this is the way that it is around this track. I don't know. There's something about off tracks here that just catch me out, and it was the same one both times at the chicane.
We saw a big incident though at turn 1. You got through all of it. You were up 10 places, I think, within half a lap. How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, no, I got kind of lucky. I had a good start. I overtook a slow car, which I got through just about. Had to put a couple of wheels on the grass, but luckily they saw me And then yeah, just coming to one because I had the inside line and I had such a big gap in front of me, I was able to sort of take my time with it. And then obviously, luckily, it all happened out to the left, so I was all on the inside and pretty much avoided most of the. I think it was 4 cars that went off there, and then there were another 3 that had a bit of a melee as well just in front of me, which I just about avoided by going right. And yeah, then I was sort of, I think I got another person. I think I overtook someone, and then yeah, just up into ninth. And so from there, it was a bit pushing.
And how did you find making up those extra couple of places beyond that? Because you gained a few places after that in the race as well.
Yeah, good fun. I love racing around this track. It's super tricky to overtake, but if you as long as you can count on someone making a mistake, because it's such a tricky track, you can usually sort of gauge where they're going to be a little bit mistake here and there, and usually you can set it up from the chicane. So if you know that they're going to have or you don't know they're going to have a bad chicane, you can hope that they do, and then you kind of just sit behind them in the know. So then you can set yourself up to take a better line, and then you kind of got them on the defensive going into the 2 hairpins, which means that it makes it easier to make a move into turn 1. That's kind of where I was doing it, is either into the chicane or turn 1. And it was just good fun. And yeah, I put and then once I got past the cars and I got up into, I think it must have, well, I guess it was 5th. I was putting a lot of pressure on James ahead. I was really trying to catch him, but I just a couple of mistakes here and a few unfortunate catching the back markers in the wrong places just cost me 5-6 seconds overall, which possibly cost me 4th. I mean, that's not to say I would have overtaken him, especially because he'd probably been more defensive at that, less so late in the race. So yeah, it's one of those. It's good, but it's good. It was good in the end. I just wish I hadn't made some of those mistakes, but otherwise, there you go. It's good times.
Definitely. And on that last lap, we saw you set the fastest lap of the race. How many DRSs did you use on that last tour?
Was it my fastest lap or the fastest lap?
I think it was the fastest lap. Yeah.
Oh, really?
14.7 fastest lap of the race by about 10th.
Okay. Well, I used 2. I had one on the back straight, one on the pit straight. So it wasn't like a huge DRS thing, but I absolutely nailed the chicane like to perfection. I don't think I've ever hit it better. It just absolutely got it perfect. I think I must have gained like 4/10 on my personal best. It was that good.
I mean, we might have to get a replay of it just on the broadcast. I want to see this straight line in the chicane. It was a great drive, Phil. Thanks for the entertainment. It was fantastic to watch you today. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Anyone I'd like to thank? I would like to thank our sponsors. We got Hype Energy Drinks, Elgato Gaming, and GT Omega. And I would like to thank you guys for putting it on again. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Phil, and best of luck next week.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got one more interview to go, and it's a guy that we usually chat with. It's Eddie Samborski in the commentary booth with us now, who started in 7th place and finished in 7th place. However, Edward, it wasn't quite that simple.
No, I put on a great display of how to drive like rubbish. I had plenty of pace. I just couldn't put it down. Too many mistakes. I lost my flying qualifying lap. I'm not saying I would have had pole, but as far as I could tell from practice, I was on pace for a 14 flat, and I ran wide out of the chicane. The rotten chicane, man. I just don't like it.
You also didn't like turn 1 either. We saw one off from you and one spin as well. Okay, was it just the circuit overall that you were struggling with, or was it those specific corners, like you said, the chicane and also turn 1?
I think it was a little of everything. Rob Crouch actually went back and looked because I was trying to figure out what happened. I think I did that to myself by putting the left front wheel off the track just ever so slightly. Because I was trying to really open up the entry because I was so close to Paul. I didn't want to fry the tires because I thought I had a chance to maybe go forward in the opening laps because I mean, unbeknownst to anyone else, I was taking it easy. So I decided to start trying to actually pick up some time. And I think I just moved over too far and caught the grass a little bit, and that was it because the car just didn't turn. I mean, you've seen it; it just went straight. Like all my practice laps, I did not have that happen one time.
And then in the closing stages, you were catching up to Theodore Burns quite a bit, I believe. How was it trying to catch and pass him? Was the turbulent air particularly prominent? Because you seem to struggle to get within about half a second.
Absolutely. You can. Yeah, I mean, if you have a pace advantage over the driver in front of you, it's real easy to get to be within about a second of them. And as soon as you cross that second mark, you have to take some sort of calculated risk. And for me, I was really obviously trying to push through turn one because the car naturally wanted to over rotate on my setup. So I figured that would be the best place to lose the front end because it naturally wanted to turn. So I could, be somewhat not concerned about it, I guess. And then through the fast right hander before you go up the hill, it's the same thing. The car naturally wants to oversteer. So I thought I was going to pass him, but that one, I don't know if it was a lapper or something happened. I almost got alongside of him, but then I locked the front wheels because I had no offline. There was just no grip to try and slow the car down.
Well, it's been great to kind of get an insight into your race, Eddie. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Sure. I'll thank Downforce Racing, D1RT. Those are both the teams I'm associated with. People don't know. They always put up with me, help me out when I do stupid stuff like today. Thank iRacing for keeping us up and running, even though their membership has skyrocketed. And thank you guys for doing the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Eddie, and best of luck for Circuit of the Americas next week.
I'm looking forward to that track. I like that one. Thank you.
So this is the point where I'd normally ask Austin to say a few closing words. He's not here. Like I said, check out the other broadcast, which is about to start on Apex Racing TV. That will be starting very soon. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this this video, and if you have, please do leave a like on it. We would mega appreciate that. And of course, do check out all our other broadcasts on Apex Racing TV. We've got loads coming up. I mean, particularly if you're American, all the American time slots. Usually, we don't have a whole lot of stuff. It's jam packed, loads of real life racing series getting involved. We're doing like an Italia series, I think, tomorrow midday for us Europeans. So certainly check out that. Subscribe to Apex Racing TV. Then you can see all of that stuff. We also broadcast all our esports network stuff on our own channel as well. So you get double the amounts of broadcast pretty much if you subscribe to Apex Racing TV now. We super recommend it, and we super recommend tuning in next week as well for week 5 of the Formula 3.5 Championship. It will be from Circuit of the Americas. But for now, from me, from Austin, and from Frederick, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.